Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered! Today, it's going to be a match between Bisu and Mong here on Circuit Breakers. Bottom right-hand corner, it's the orange Protoss player. His name is Bisu, under his well-known Smurf name Only Star. And in the bottom left, it is a white Terran player whose name is Mong. An incredible Terran player in his own rights. He's been involved in some of the best battles I have ever cast in Brood War. So I like Mong a lot. I love Bisu. Everybody loves the Bisu. And let's see how they do against each other here today. Probe scouting out. I did forget to mention this is a patreon.com cast. For those... Actually, hold on. Thinking about it. I don't know this actually is. Anyway, this might show up on patreon.com/FalconPaladin a month before it shows up on the channel. And it might not. It's like Schrodinger's cat. If it's there, then it's there, and if it's not, then it's not. Anywho, if you feel like supporting me, you can hit patreon.com/FalconPaladin and support me for at least $1 a month, and you'll get bonus casts before anybody sees them on YouTube. That's about it. Now, do you see this aggression? This aggression from Bisu. He's like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna rush, no matter what. But I don't know where my opponent is yet. So we're going to throw up a gateway in the middle of the map like a madman. Dude, Mong, you might be in trouble, my friend. I mean, tell me... Okay, so he didn't go Command Center first because he's not insane. Bisu likes these early Zealot pressures. We've seen them more against Zerg, though. I mean, the saving grace here, honestly, for Mong is that Bisu doesn't know where he is. I don't know if anybody's actually gone through and watched all the Bisu games, but I really feel like the ones where he scouts the correct direction, he wins the game, like 90% of the time. And the ones where he doesn't scout the right direction, like this one, he either loses or really struggles in defeating his opponent, which is hilarious. It's just like Bisu is so good. If he knows where you are, you die. Seems like, seems intimidating, man. Can you imagine showing up on the ladder or like in a tournament and being like, next you face Bisu? You'd be like, ah, come on. Can I face someone easier? No, you must face the master himself. So again, the Zealot shows up. The timing is actually not too different because you still have to make the Zealot and wait for him to arrive. But behold, the wall. The wall is here. Mong knows what he's dealing with. And what he's dealing with is Bisu. Look at this positioning. This Marine micro is great. I like it a lot. That probe has to get out of here. The Zealot's like, well, I'm never killing that Marine. He's too zippy. I'm going to come in here and deny some mining time. But you know what? You can mine from the natural. Well, not really. Command Center's not quite done yet. Another Zealot joining the party. Dude, Bob the Zealot here. Doing some good work for Iron. That positioning, though. Oh! That SCV positioning from Mong was better, though. Nicely done, Mong. Shuts down that first Zealot. Now, this one's easier to deal with. Because, oh, look at the SCVs. Oh, my gosh, look at the SCVs. One of them dies for the Terran Dominion, but it's totally worth it. And Mong absolutely 100% shut that down. I mean, Bisu's still trying to make this happen, but, like, you kill basically 2 Zealots without losing a single Marine, you're having a good day. That bunker's going to finish. The Zealots have to get out of here. The attempted aggression from Bisu has been thwarted because, again, Mong is good at StarCraft. Did you see that SCV positioning? Messing with the pathing on the Zealots to make sure they couldn't get any hits off on the Marines was so good. So good. All right, so we're inside the bunker. The Zealots can't run by here. They can't run by here because they'll die, especially this one that has, like, no HP. So in the meantime, are you... What? Sure. He's blocking Mong's attempt at taking a third base at 4 minutes. I don't know, man. I feel like that'd be a foolish decision from Mong at this point to try to take a third base at 2 minutes against a one-basing Bisu, but hey, it's fine. You know what Bisu has? A gateway and a dream. He has one gateway and a cybernetics core, and that's it. This is insane. He's expanding behind it. Bisu, you're a madman. You are a complete madman. All right, well, the Dragoons are here. Singularity charge is almost done, and somehow this has kind of turned into a fairly normal match. Like, for all the aggression, we're at the point where the Dragoons have shown up, and range is up, and now they start firing on the bunker. And the Terran has got a factory done, and he's working on probably vultures with spider mines, or maybe a tank, who knows. He has some options here, and more Dragoons keep coming in all the time, but there's an expansion back home from the Protoss, so he's not, like, trying to win right now. The early Zealots were trying to get him to a condition of winning, for sure, but not this stuff. This stuff is not really going for that. It is going to be siege mode, which is one of the longer options here. But it's more trustworthy. It's more reliable. You can get siege mode out, then the Dragoons are like, hey, we're good. We're good at this point. Yeah, I mean, Zealots back home. Another Dragoon is coming out. Again, this gateway in the middle, I feel like it's going to die at some point in this game, but who knows? Who rightly knows if it's going to die or not? Missile turrets coming up. He's worried about observers showing up, providing some really important vision as if there are tanks back here. Siege mode is just about done. Ah, robotic support bay. Are you going to Reaver drop here in the early stages? I feel like that's what we're going to do, is go for the almighty Reaver drop. Which, if you're on the Terran end of a Reaver drop, it can feel like it's real fast, man. Yeah, look at this tank firing. Fires on the Dragoons, they have to pull back. Fires on the Dragoon, it has to pull back. They all have to pull back. And that's it. I mean, at some point, you could jump on that tank, but you'd lose a couple Dragoons in the process, and that's just not a good trade. And yeah, it's Reavers in production, because derp, you have a robotic support bay. So we're going to do some Reaver dropping while pressuring with the Dragoons at the front. Dun, 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 dun. Of course, there's an observatory on the way because you want to make sure. Where is the observatory? I saw the observatory, right? Oh my gosh, a third base. Bisu, you're insane. Did he cancel? No, it's right here. Oh, okay. Huh. We got there. He just wants to scout out what's going on inside the Terran base before he flies a shuttle in there, especially if the shuttle doesn't have speed, which it doesn't at this point. So we are good. We are good to go. More turrets in production. The vultures are scouting around. They're like, ah, okay, there's a gateway in the middle of the map. I was wondering how Zealot showed up so early. And that's your how. Equidistant. Third Nexus coming up at 7 minutes. I mean, this is... Bisu's like, all right, I know what I have to do now is out-expand my Terran opponent, which is easier said than done, in all fairness. But I got to do it, because eventually he's going to show up with a bunch of tanks, and I need to start whittling down that tank count, and I need to work on harassing him with this action. Ow, ow, ow. Turret, turret, turret. Brings down almost all the shields on that shuttle, and shuttle has to return in shame. Because the turret placement is so good. I mean, could have just come right here. Like here, and then down this way, and then the vultures are trying to get through this wall, and they killed one of the Dragoons, but eh. I like how he cancels the pylon and then rebuilds it behind him. That's some pretty fun stuff. So the observers are out to deal with the spider mines, obviously. But there was an angle here for the Reaver to get in. Come here, go south, go left, unload. Although you'll notice this right here makes it so coming back this way, you can't just get Reaver shots to go around the right side. They have to go up and around here in order to fire. That's kind of genius supply depot placement. I like it a lot. Terran fans, Terran players, maybe make note of that if you're dealing with Reaver drops and it's really bad for you. Shuttle, again, taking additional damage. Not accomplishing a whole ton. But again, just trying to keep pressure on Mong here. Third base trying to come and land here. The siege tanks all have to say no. Ooh, look at him. He went under the landing command center and kind of glitched through it for a second. That was cool. That was a cool move. Did you guys see there was a temporary glitch in StarCraft 2 for like 24 hours where command centers could load other stuff other than SCVs, which you're like, what are you talking about? Command centers in StarCraft 2 can load SCVs for safety purposes. It's not used a lot, but it can. And for 24 hours, there was a situation where people discovered you could load command centers with like full bunkers of Marines and missile turrets and battle cruisers. And in a particularly good trick, the command center could load itself into itself and disappear. But not entirely disappear, because it was still providing supply for the Terran players and still counted as a building for the win condition of the game. So you could force a draw every single time as Terran by just sticking command center inside itself, not targetable. You couldn't damage it. You couldn't select it. It's just gone, but the game thought it was still there. It is one of the most incredible bugs I've ever seen in anything. If you want to see that in action, like, you might want to check my latest cheese compilation for StarCraft 2, which I've seen a lot of requests for Brood War cheese, and we're working on it. It might actually be out by the time you see this. I'm running with like a bit of a longer buffer now, but anyway, if you want to see it, it's in my latest StarCraft 2 cheese comp, so check it out. Check this action out. Fleet Beacon, double Stargate at 10 minutes. And we're making carriers. All right, so 10-minute carrier here from Bisu after starting with Proxy Zealot. He's a madman. Charon Boosters is on the way. There's a couple Goliaths out, but I don't think he's prepared for carriers yet. Man, I don't know. Let's see if this works. I'm kind of excited to see what it does. A 4th base is on the way from Bisu because he's, again, out expanding the Terran, who's on his 3rd base right now. You got to think like a Zerg player if you're going to do this. Dragoons firing on the vultures at will. Bra, bra, pa, pa, pa. Pew, pew. I'm trying to think of what Dragoons say. Pew, pew. It's like a deeper sound. Also, that observer is dead. Wait, hold on. There's no science vessels. I thought there was. Never mind. We're good. Carrier capacity coming in. Now, there's a little bit of a window here where the Protoss is kind of vulnerable, because they're transitioning into carriers, and carriers take 47 years to build. I mean, they probably would. If, like, human technology wanted to build carriers, it would take them 47 years. Vultures get in... They get dropped in here? I guess they just maybe ran. How did that even... I don't even know how that happened. Either way, center gateway, our friend, finally dies. Mong is looking pretty darn intimidating here, I gotta say. He's got a bajillion tanks out because that's how you play Terran. The 2 first carriers of the day are finishing up, but they still have to build interceptors. I mean, this is what we're looking at. Reaver down! Ow. Reaver gets in there, tries to do this thing. Oh my gosh, several tanks die all at once right there, and it looks like Bisu with the Zealots might be able to hold off here. There weren't enough Vultures to get rid of the Zealots, at least not in time to save the siege tanks. And that's it, man. Bisu holds it off. Nicely done, for sure. Is he doesn't know. He's making another round of Vultures and siege tanks, and the carriers are out, man. The carriers have arrived, you might say. And this, I don't know what Mong does. I really don't. Okay, never mind. He's going for 5 Goliaths now. I think he canceled his tanks. Canceled his tank production. Still has a couple Vultures on the way. But either way, he sees the carriers now. So we'll see how Bisu does. Can Bisu, with 10-minute carriers, hold off what Mong is doing? And you know what? He had enough army to do it. He had enough army to hold off the aggression there, that timing push from Mong, trying to kill Bisu. Even while he was tied up a lot of his production and his resources in carriers that weren't there to help. That's why he's Bisu, man. That's why he is the best. He's the best Protoss player of all time. He just is. It's for stuff like this. It's not only because he came up with a meta-shifting strategy, but because of this. Because he's just good. Like, a lesser Protoss player just dies to that push. Doesn't have enough stuff. Is just sinking too much resources into the carriers there, and they lose that battle. Of course, if Mong had a few more Vultures, he'd have a better time with it as well. So, again, we're not at the point where there's a critical number of carriers yet. It's still just 4 with another couple on the way. And it's not like he's making only carriers either. He's got 8 Zealots in production. It's kind of a hybrid ground carrier army, which I'm down. I support this fairly wholeheartedly. Carriers trying to target the bodies of, or rather the carriers are not trying to target the bodies of anything. The Goliaths are trying to target the bodies of the carriers, and one does end up going down there. But that's why you have the Dragoons and the Zealots, because the you can't just go mass Goliath because of these dudes. Look at this hybrid strategy that we're seeing employed today. Not as common, I gotta say. So here we go. Goliaths in the mix, Zealots on top of everything. The carriers are just crushing, and suddenly Mong is in an immense amount of trouble. He's suddenly down 165 to 96 total supply. There's too many zealots, too many dragoons for the ground army to handle. And that's your good game. Mong is out, and Bisu is your winner in 15 minutes and 11 seconds with a very simple carrier tech switch that, again, I feel like the Terran player saw. Mong saw this coming. But but it wasn't enough, obviously. We're here now, right? Where it's a GG for Bisu. Yeah, really good stuff. I mean, one of the carriers even got sniped off during that early attack. The first assault from the Goliaths did take care of that, but there wasn't enough ground army to deal with this stuff and enough Goliaths to deal with the carriers. Just out macroed, man. Again, 4 bases. Never stop making probes. Never stop making ground units. Get a couple carriers in the mix. And then just crush. What a fantastically impressive game there out of Bisu. He is boss. He just is. Hoorah. All right. Well, that's going to be it. I mean, I don't know what else to say about that game other than it's a 134 killed unit to 67 killed unit number here. And the resources obviously favoring Bisu across the board. That's where we are. What a fantastic display from Bisu. He's such a great dude. All right, good stuff. Well, that's going to be it from me today. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered and a game from Bisu and Mong. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.